Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to look at some of the useful JavaScript tricks. There are times when you write your code and you may feel that, I could do this easier way or better way, right? So today I'll show you some of the interesting JavaScript tricks that I've learned over the years that might really help you improve your code. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at these tricks and we're going to look at the fundamentals behind it, why they work, the way they work, and also look at some of the use cases. And welcome to Texit Tutorials. Before we start, I would like to tell you about Java course offered by this cool platform called Code Gem. It's 100% online platform where you can learn Java from the comfort of your home via desktop or mobile device. From scratch. Yes, they also have a mobile application and no prior Java experience required. And the most important thing about this course is that this course is 80% practice. They have massive 500 plus hours of total Java practice. And they have also something called virtual tutor, and that would verify your code and help you fix your mistakes. Like tutorial on Texit channel, you will get lots of visualization, storytelling, motivation, gaming, and jokes to make your learning more interesting. And also, I always believe that if you want to learn something, you learn it to get a better job. This course will do that for you. It provides a targeted preparation for technical job interviews. And lastly, if your English is not your first language, this course is also available in Polish, Chinese, Hindi, German, and French. To get started, they are offering a special discount of 30% on annual subscription. All you have to do is use this discount code TEXIT, which I'm going to write here. And the information is in the description, and you can get started using the link. And you can contact their support team to use the discount code. So do check it out and start learning. All right, so let's get started. We're going to start with a simpler one. For a given array, if you want to swap elements. So let's say if I want to swap 1 with 5, and the resulting array would be something like this. There is a simpler way of doing it using 3 steps. This achieves the goal that we want, but it happens in 3 steps. And if you notice, a lot of array operation requires swapping of elements, especially if you want to solve a problem in place, right? A lot of sorting problems require swapping. So oftentimes people end up writing a small utility function to solve this. So you can put this in a utility function. But if you can do this in a one line, that would be really ideal. So we're gonna try to solve this in a one-liner. So for that, we can use destructuring. And the way it works is pretty neat. So you would have 2 arrays like this, right and left. And then on the left side, you would set the original order, the source order. So here the order would be array, I have 0, array, element 4, right? For the destination, I would reverse this order. It's a 4 and 0, console log array, and I get reverse array. So this is pretty useful. Why does this work, right? Why don't we need a temporary variable? Because destructuring holds a value for you, so you don't have to do that additional step. That's why this is pretty neat and useful, and it's clean looking. You can also use this for swapping regular variables. So if I have a variable a and b, and if I want to swap them, a, b equal to b, a. Pretty simple, right? So if I console log a and b, voila, it's changed, 2 and 1. As I said, this still uses swapping inside, but let's say during an interview, let's say if you're given a question that I want to swap variables without actually using a temporary variable. This trick would work, but a lot of interview would say, do not use this method. I want to use it without destructuring. So how do you achieve that? So for that, we can use a different method using math. And you can do this in one line. And to do that is a equal to b plus equal to a minus equal to b. Right? If I add these two, I would get 3. And if I remove the 1 from here, I would get b. So this is how I can hold the summation to hold the other value without using a temporary variable, right? And now if I run this, I will get 2 and 1, right? So this is a pretty neat trick. A lot of interviewers ask this. So just in case if you get this one, you can use this. All right, so this next trick is pretty useful. Sooner or later, you would have to build this inside your web app. So let's understand how it works. So usually you would given some sort of a URL or some sort of text or code, and you will given a button where if you click on this button, it would copy the text next to it. And it's usually a URL. So it will copy this on a clipboard, and then you can paste it, Control V or Command V or on wherever you like, right? So the objective is to get it copied into the clipboard. So how to achieve that? Let's try to do manually to see how it works. So if I were to copy this manually to clipboard, I would highlight it first, select the text first, and then I would run Control C, Command C, depending on a Mac or PC, and then I can just Control V or Command V wherever I like, right? Even outside this browser. So that's how it works. So if I want to do it programmatically by clicking on a button, what I have to do is somehow, if I can select this text, run this wonderful API that allows you to do that, that will be an ideal situation. But selecting from a div, it's a little bit difficult. So what we're going to do is we're going to use text area. And the usefulness of the text area is you can just dump this text into the text area, and it has select a function, so which selects the whole text inside the text area. And then we can call this copy to clipboard on that selected area. So to start with, we're going to write some click handle. So I have this ID copy. So I'm going to write a document get element by ID copy dot add event listener click and then click handle. So we need to build this click handle. So this click handle is pretty simple. It would get this text because I've defined an ID here called text, and I can grab this and I will write a function called copy to clipboard. So this is useful if I want to use somewhere else as well. And I will pass this text of this, which will be google.com into this function. So let's write this function. So first of all, we're going to create an element, and we're going to create text area, and we can take the value, which is the string, and set it as the value. Then I can append this element, and then all I have to do is inside for the element, I can say element dot select. So this actually selects the area. So far, if I want to see it working, if I run this and then if I click on the copy, all it's going to do is create this text area and drop this text inside and select it. So now all I have to do is call this command, which is to copy. And this is where this unique API, which is new, document.execute command. So this actually takes whatever has been selected and it's going to copy, as if like I am right clicking on it and the selected area is copying. So that's what it does. But I don't want to create another element and have it here, right? Because that's not the objective. So all I have to do is just remove this element right after it's copied, so as if it doesn't exist. That would remove automatically. Once it's used, it removes it. So as if it doesn't even exist. Oh, there's supposed to be command, not command. So if I run this again and then click on copy, and then I don't see that text area because it's removed right after things are copied, and I can now paste this anywhere where I like, right? So this is pretty neat trick. All right, so this next trick is pretty interesting as well. Destructuring aliases. Let's say if you have an object, something like this, and you want to create variables from one or more properties, you can easily do it using destructuring. But oftentimes, you want to keep the variable name different from the property name. So for example, you want to hold this age in a variable, but you don't want to keep the name as age. So you need to use aliasing. So one way to do it is you would create variables from here, from profile. And then if I want to change the name, profile age equal to age, status status. But instead of this, let's say if you have so many properties and I want to create many variables, this would be too many lines. So if I can do this in one line, it will be an ideal situation. I don't have to copy this variable. All I have to use is aliases. I can say profile age here and status here. So if I do console log respectively. So is this useful? Yes, I've actually used this many times. So the next trick is pretty neat. Let's say if you have an input, which is a number type, I would get a number input. But if I want to grab the value from it, it would be a string. The problem with this is if I want to bind this value to some other HTML element, I would get string instead of number. And so I cannot directly bind it. I can actually convert this into a number and then bind, then set it. So there's an extra step involved. The ideal situation would be if I can grab the value as a number, which was not previously possible, but now recently they have introduced a new property where you can grab this as a number. So I can grab this element, I can grab it as value as number. I will get 12.3. The most useful is I can also do date, and I don't have to convert it to date. It automatically converts it for me. So that is also a useful one. And if you don't have a number, then it would give you an AN. All right, so this next one, a lot of people already know this one, and I've used this in my previous video, just in case if you don't know. Let's say if I want to remove duplicate values from an array, there's a one-line solution, which is pretty simple. JavaScript has a dataset, new dataset called set. So what I would have to do is create a new set and then pass this array into it. And this would give me a new set. Now set is a different data structure from array. But if I want to remove duplicate from this array, I would need an array from it. So what I would have to do is convert this set into then an array. And you can do this using spread operator. So if I just do this, this would give me an array without any duplicate values. And if I run this, I would get 1 and 2. So this is also pretty neat. Okay, so the next one is if you want to compare two arrays by value. To do that, you have to compare value by value. So you have to take each value at each position and then to see if they are equal. Yeah, you can write a for loop to do that. And it's pretty simple, but you can do it in a simple line. The only thing is you cannot do for a nested array. So let's write a function, same elements. Let's say if I pass A and B, these are two arrays. So what I'll have to do is, first of all, I have to check the length. If the length is not equal, then obviously I can return false, right? If they're equal, then I can start looking at the element. So first what I would do is if the A dot length equal to length, if that's true, then I can do this. Arrays have a method, a built-in method called every. You can check for every single value. If one of them is false, then it returns false, otherwise it will return true. And then you would say if the value equal to, because we are running on A, if the value is equal to B, and if we can pass the same index, right, for B, whichever the index we're looking at. And if this is not matching, then this would return false. And so our function would return false. So if I pass, let's say 1, 2, and 1, 2, I forgot to return here. And I would get it true. If this was, let's say 3, then if I run this, I would get false. So this is a quite neat and useful trick if you want to compare two arrays. All right, so this next trick, let's say if you have given some array with some empty values and some non-empty values, and you want to remove all the empty values. You can do that in a one-liner, empty vals, and then filter it, and then just pass Boolean. We'll look at it why it works. So let's console log this first. And it gives me 1. It actually removes everything, not only non-empty values, it also removes 0 and false as well. So you have to be really careful how you use it. I've seen a lot of people using this and it works, but it also removes 0 and false, which I think they're not non-empty values. So just be careful. You can also check if your array has some empty values. To do that, you can say has empty values, and instead of filter, I can use sum. In that case, it would tell you if your array has empty values or not, and it would give you true. And if I do every, which means has all empty values, every single value as empty value, then it would return true, otherwise it would return false. And the reason it works is a Boolean is nothing but it converts each value to true or false, and every, filter, and sum use to determine what to do with it using true and false. That's why this works. You also lose readability. If you know what you're doing, then I would suggest use it, otherwise avoid it. All right, this next trick is actually very useful, and I've used it a few times. And I want to shuffle all these numbers, randomly shuffle it, right? Which is, usually a little bit complex problem, but you can do this in a one-liner. .sort function, and inside this sort function, I would take math.random. Math.random actually produces a number between 0 and 1. Actually excluding 1. If I subtract 0.5, when you're sorting, you're deciding where this number belongs. So I'm actually shuffling 50% of the time, right? And by doing this, I can place each number, I can shuffle each number. Okay, so if I console log this one and run this, every time I run this, I would get different. So if you want to shuffle a deck of card or a bunch of numbers, this is a pretty neat trick. All right, that's all, folks. I hope you learned something new from this video, and if you did, please subscribe, and provide a nice comment. You can follow me on Facebook. I have a bunch of groups. You can check it out. You can also follow me on Twitter, and I have Medium articles that you can check it out. And I have actually a couple of Udemy courses, one on React and one on JavaScript. Thank you for watching.